My name is Ashwin Kumar. Welcome to one more session on rural management. Today we are going to discuss rural tourism as part of the BBA Rural Management Program. In today's session we are going to talk about impact of rural tourism. Let us explore that particular topic on rural tourism. So what is the impact of rural tourism? Rural tourism is growing in the world in general and India in particular. It has led to establishment of many infrastructures in tourist origin and destination regions. Many of the activities are addressed concerning the needs of the tourists. There is a great interaction of tourists with the land and the people of any area from where they originate and they reach during the tourism endeavor. Rural tourism is considered as an industry. This industry involves the movement of the people from urban to rural areas. The movement of people requires infrastructure related with transport. Moving to the rural place in turn requires accommodation for the people, which further leads to foods and drinks. The rest of the thing we will typically say it as boarding and lodging. So interaction with the local people is further associated with the intermingling of the cultures of different origins. Consumption patterns of tourists is different from the local people. And the most important thing is, when we visit a particular tourist area, you have to check out for the waste disposal methods. How they dispose of the solid waste and the liquid waste. Is it being segregated or not? Or if they are using any incinerators or not. So all these things place for the welfare of that particular area. Now some impacts which we are going to discuss briefly is economic impacts, socio-cultural impacts, political impacts and environmental impacts, right? So let's go to the next one. The impacts of rural tourism management. What are the economic impacts? The importance of economics on this sector could be judged by the number of people involved in it as well as the income generated. Directly or indirectly, large number of people are involved in the tourism sector. It includes areas like transportation, accommodation, food, ticketing, guiding, boating, rafting, trekking, maintenance of the tourist sites. All these are direct income generators. Host provides all the required services and facilities to the guests. So this is how the entire operations part of it takes and how it impacts the rural economy. Now coming to the to-do activity. A simple activity along with your friend or a partner, try to list down the possible factors that may affect rural tourism. One is the historical and cultural importance, economic one, environmental one, technological one, research importance and religious importance. These are broadly classified as the factors that influence the tourism, especially the rural tourism. Now let us understand the socio-cultural impacts. When you say socio-cultural impacts, let us briefly understand what this society is all about. Society is a community or broad grouping of people living in a certain area that has common traditions, institutions, activities and interests. In fact, society is a system of relationship of people who share the same common sense of identity. It may be small like a family, locality or large as whole of a nation. Culture. Culture is the practices of that society which binds people of the society together. It includes manners, morals, beliefs, behavior, values and norms. A good manner is socially acceptable way of relationship. It includes respect, care and consideration for others. Morality is a set of rules, principles and duties applicable to a group of people or a society which is generally independent of religion. What is belief? Belief is the foundation of attitude. Attitude determines the outlook and thinking process of an individual and the society. Behavior is the way in which the individual or a member of the society behaves or acts. It is viewed with reference to phenomena, incident or an action. It is therefore a response of the member. What are the norms? Norms are the formal rules of the society. It regulates the member of the community, group or society in maintaining the harmony. So here, my dear friends, I would like to ask you a very important question. This is just to check what are the attitudes, what are the beliefs, how things evolve from your particular family, your environment. Let us assume that you are coming from a second show from a movie theater and you are really going to your home and you stop near one crossroads where there are traffic signals and the traffic light is showing red. There are no traffic. There is no traffic cop. Will you still stay till the green light is on, or will you just say, since nobody is there, will you move ahead? This is one important self-test mechanism you have to ask yourself. and especially you can observe it in your children, how they really follow the rules or not. So it's up to you to decide how, whether during the night show, when you come onto the traffic junction, when there is a red signal, will you stop or not, and there is no cop around. Let's go to the next one. What are the values? Values are those ideals that a society holds above all: honesty, respect, faithfulness. These values are the binding blocks of norms. These are certain basic rules of social interaction and conduct of the people of the society. When more and more people come from far-flung places and interact with the local residents of any area, the social and cultural impacts are bound to take place. Due to an interaction, deviations are seen in the changes are observed in altering the value system, behavior, including losing one's indigenous identity and community structure. This happens a lot, especially in the family relationships, collective traditional lifestyle, ceremonies and morality. The political impacts are seen on the tourism rather than the tourism impact on the politics directly. But indirectly, the governments of the developed countries from where the well-off tourists come influences the governments for a congenial condition to be provided for their visitors. Everyone is very much concerned about the safe and secure journey of the tourist destination and back to the original place. To get to know the visited area as well as fun and enjoyment is the main objective of tourism. A tourism policy gives the direction to the tourism. Very important to understand before you visit any particular place. Please read their national tourism plan or national tourism policy. Now coming to environmental impacts. Environment is the total surroundings or conditions in which a person, animal or plant lives or interacts. A person's environment is made up of all that is directly or indirectly associated with the living conditions. It includes houses, buildings, fellow persons, animals, plants, etc. All these things are directly linked with the human society around. The living plants and animals not only exist in the surroundings but also interact with each other. These kind of interactions also impact depending on the dynamism of the interaction. Tourism brings in huge number of people to an area continuously, which have diverse attitudes. Huge number of people arriving at those locations possess intense pressure on various resources, especially the water. We have seen during the summer season, the lot of tourists, when they go there, water is a shortage in a hilly region. Then more and more infrastructures are created to accommodate them, due to which great changes in the landscape of the area are made. Some of the environmental improvements are also observed to attract and more tourists. So this is basically about environmental impacts. Now the focus is all about sustainable rural tourism. What exactly we define what is sustainable rural tourism? Although we have broadly classified in the previous session, let us slowly understand it point by point. Sustainable tourism minimizes the environmental damage, maintains resource diversity, renewability and productivity over time, and seeks to mitigate the inevitable negative effects of tourism on local, regional and global levels. The new version of sustainable tourism states that sustainability should be sought in all landscapes, whether urban or rural, in traditional resort or an eco camp. Community acceptance, engagement and benefit are critical, and the uniqueness of the place has to be protected to the fullest extent feasible. So sustainable rural tourism can be broadly classified in 4 categories. What are they? Ecological sustainability, social sustainability, cultural sustainability and economic sustainability. So what is ecological sustainability? It consists of human actions that maintain the capacity of ecosystems to produce the range of goods upon which all the life depends. Social sustainability. It refers to the ability of a community, whether local or national, to absorb inputs such as extra people for short or long period of time and to continue functioning either without creation of social disharmony because of these inputs or by adapting its function and relationships such that disharmony created can be alleviated. Basically, most of the time when you are trying to talk about social sustainability, we are saying the classic example is when people go for weddings. It is during the weddings people have to adapt and adopt certain new things that happens, especially the people from boys side will go to the girl side, or the girl side will go to the boys side, especially in the village area. Different areas got different traditions, cultures and rituals, so it should be welcomed with an open heart and mind. So instead of having a negative outlook around that, it's better to have a positive mindset and see how best to mingle with the local mindsets. That is why social sustainability is also very important. Cultural sustainability. It refers to the ability of people to retain or adapt elements of their culture which distinguishes them from the other. So here we are seeing cultural sustainability, especially if you see the Kodagu tribe in the Nilgiri areas and especially Kotagiri areas. All these areas, they have got their own individual identity, they maintain their cultures, they regularly celebrate their festivals there. Then comes economic sustainability. It refers to the economic development that translates into long-term plans and policies into achieving financial well-being and economic stability of the nation and that particular household. So these are the broad factors in which the sustainable tourism is telling, sharing, we are sharing with us and we are discussing about it. So I repeat once again, ecological sustainability, social sustainability, cultural sustainability and economic sustainability. This is the broad factors on which sustainable tourism we have just shared. Right, what are the principles of sustainable tourism? The principles of sustainable tourism are: tourism development must be designed, planned and managed to respect the maximum capacity or limits the environment in order to give importance to long-term planning and the judicious use of natural and human resources for the future. So that is why we are saying judicious use of natural and human resources. The conservation and use of natural, social and cultural resources is essential to achieve sustainable use redevelopment. Tourism planning and development must be integrated into local, region and national level sustainable development strategies. Planners and policy makers must take into the capacity of the land, resource and socio-cultural factors while planning for tourism development. Especially the planners of different states, they should take into the consideration of what are the local festivals which happen. Most of the people know about it, but in spite of that, it's better to go visit that particular place, understand which is the best season to market that particular festival to people in India and people abroad also, so that we can weave a marketing plan around that. Then tourism industry should sincerely use local products for the benefit of the local economy. This is very, very vital. So we have to use as much as possible purchases from the local area, such that the entire money which has to be rotated, it's going back into the rural area. That will really help the people of the rural areas. Tourism revenue should overshadow the economic base of an area for which environmental costs and benefit costs should be assessed. Local community members should be given a pivotal role in decision making process, planning and implementation. This is the crucial aspect of the principles of sustainable tourism. You have to involve the local people in anything that develop, because they are the actual owners. They will take the ownership for the rural tourism of that particular area. So that is why, my dear friends, it is very important to involve them locally. The community participation is important. How to promote on that, we will be discussing in the next slides to come. So tourism development, the culture, value, social system, economic system, the way of life, local environment and political setup should be preserved and respected. All the partners of tourism should be sensitized to respect the sustainable forms of tourism. Efforts for continuous staff training, awareness, marketing, publicity, empowerment should be taken up without having any prejudice for the benefits of host communities and other stakeholders. Research should be encouraged at all levels of tourism development and operation in order to find solutions. Very critical page, especially as far as sustainable rural tourism is concerned. Why? It is because the training for the staff is important. This staff, they are coming from different cultural backgrounds, different attitudes, different set of knowledge. So they all have to be brought on a common platform. Then the common platform has to be created. Once a common platform has been created, they start taking ownership about how to market that particular place. So that is why, to make them understand about the marketability aspect of their local areas, about your own village, is very, very important. So kindly do not never ever consider that there is nothing in my village. Definitely there will be something in and around, at least 100 kilometers around your village, at least 50 to 60 kilometers around the village, where you can build a nice, truthful story around it, about its heritage, about its culture, just by sitting and discussing with the senior citizens of that village. So here a simple activity, brainstorming with your partner how to foster sustainable rural tourism in your village. So that is why sustainable rural tourism development meets the need of the present tourists and the host rural regions while protecting and enhancing the opportunity for the future. It is here I am requesting you, kindly do this activity, note down the points, what are the important points where you can really think about your village, about your area, note down what are the things which is being affected right now. If possible, take a photograph or shoot a video, weave a story around it. So that is what it makes promoting sustainable tourism. The next one is also saying a very important topic, the tourism development, helping each other and extending cooperation to tackle the negative consequences of tourism should be the motto of all individuals and organizations involved in the tourism business. If you are just looking at only one aspect of your business should grow, the local area should go down, so you are not in the right place. As I said previously, as far as negotiation is concerned, try to create a win-win situation. It should be a win for the people who are bringing in the tourists. It should be the win for the locals also. So always focus on creating win-win situation. An important aspect here, promoting energy saving measures through renewable ways should be adopted for increasing the efficiency. Reducing consumption of high quality drinking water, especially the bottled mineral waters supplied from rainwater, grey water must be practiced. Reducing domestic consumption of water management system is the best way to save water and energy. Selecting the use of renewable materials must be done to help reduce the waste and save natural resources. Making the use of design of land and long-term development must be figured in destination planning documents, and preserving the cultural heritage must be the objective. Here I would like to say the three forms of renewable energy that we all know about it, of which I will be talking of a few important aspects. One is the solar energy. So I would request that entire village should be, they should be putting on the solar panels on the rooftops and generating it wherever, especially we are talking of where the temperatures are very high, especially you are talking of Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Telangana and all these places. During the summer is very hot. So during that time or during the complete year, if they can install solar panels, and here one additional point of knowledge which I would like to share you, because the renewable energy topic has come in. Solar panels, please put it on grid. It might be slightly expensive, but don't put on off grid. Off grid means it becomes an extended inverter. We don't put it on extended inverter, the condition, please put it on grid. When you put it on grid, you are generating electricity for the grid, for your local electricity board grid. So when you generate electricity from your solar panels, so that electricity is being taken by the concerned state government. Then they measure, after 1 month they measure the entire thing is how much is their local state government current that we have used, that particular household has used. Then they balance it out, how much energy we have produced and given it to the state, how much we have consumed, then the balance number of units, it will only be billed. So in that way, if you are putting solar panels, solar energy for a long term use, so it will be very, very beneficial. That much I can definitely tell you. So please focus on putting especially solar panels. This can bring in your cost of your electricity bills very, very less, and definitely government is giving certain benefits and everything, but it's a long drawn process. So I would suggest that at all the especially hilly areas and especially the non-hilly areas, plains also, especially places like Rajasthan, Jaipur, Delhi, Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, Odisha, Madhya Pradesh, all these places, Chhattisgarh, all these places can go in for the solar panels. So that will be a very, very good one and very, very effective. And the second one which I would like to talk about renewable energy is the wind power. Wind power is technically for the hilly areas where the winds are very heavy and they generate lot of electricity. They can produce the alternative source of current. So we have to have a backup of the electricity, especially with the generators and everything. So wind source is also one important thing which you can focus on. So I would request that in all the main areas, on the plain areas, you have to go in for solar. And the hilly regions, I would say definitely if it is very sunny in your particular part of the area, go in for solar on grid, and definitely please install the wind machines. The wind machines will be very, very useful. I am trying to tell you, especially in the hilly parts and where, especially in the coastal areas where the winds are very heavy, and the concerned people will come down and they'll analyze the situation, and then they'll install all these particular windmills also. So please concentrate on these two types of particular renewable energy systems in your area. As we discussed, what is community based tourism? Community based tourism is when the local community takes ownership, management and control of the tourism products and projects. I repeat, community based tourism is when the local community takes ownership, management and control, OMC, ownership, management and control of tourism products and projects. How is it done? A process by which a community mobilizes its resources, initiates and takes responsibility for its own development activities and share in the decision making for and implementation of all other development programs for the overall improvement of the its health status. Community participation can be loosely defined as involvement of people in community in projects to solve their own problems. Community participation is especially important in emergency situation, especially during the disasters, especially during any kind of a drought kind of a situation or any kind of floods kind of a situation, earthquakes in certain areas that have happened. So all these things, it is community based participation will really help in strengthening the efforts of the concerned local state government as well as the national government. If the destination is all about community based tourism, what are the important factors that play? 1. Capacity building of effective local tourism governance. Second one, investigation of existing capitals destinations, well-being needs and goals. Next, generation of possible tourism scenarios that make net contribution to all forms of capital and that directly addresses community well-being. Assess the scenarios in terms of visibility, viability, resources offered to the destination and sustainability issues for further levels of analysis. Then, select and adapt scenarios for implementation. Then, implementation, then sustainability monitoring and evaluation. This is the entire role about how you implement, evaluate and understand sustainable rural tourism. Now this particular flow chart, I know it looks bigger, but I'll just take extra time of yours to make you understand what in a broad spectrum. This is looking at a macro level. Let us look at this particular sustainable rural tourism development at a macro level. First thing that we need to analyze is the global trends. Then from the global trends comes the factors which say what is the demand required, what is the supply we can give, and the marketing of the infrastructure, legal aspect and regulatory factors. Then straightly the tourism development comes into the steps. What are the steps involved? Analysis, planning, organizing and leading and monitoring. What do you mean by analysis? Current state, factors, policy analysis, customer satisfaction, planning, goals, vision, priorities for tourism development, organizing and leading, specific actions towards tourism development, then monitoring, evaluation and corrective actions. Basically they say this is as a feedback. When the feedback comes in, please welcome. When you get a feedback, you will get a feedback which is constructive criticism as well as with destructive criticism. So what I say, what my gurus said is feedback should be taken, never debated. That should be the thumb rule. Feedback should be taken and never debated. That should be the thumb rule during any session. Please take feedback. Even you are a lecturer, you are a professor, if you don't take feedback from your students, you will never grow. And you know that. The new generation, next generation, they will come with their own ideas, they will come with their set of queries. We need to address it. There is no harm in saying that I don't know, let me do the research and come back. It's all about collaborative learning. We are all exploring the entire topic. Then what are the methods being employed? Qualitative methods like focus group interviews, case studies, quantitative methods like surveys, textual analysis, content analysis, documents and SWOT analysis and statistical analysis. All these things basically to create a platform. Then what is the impact? Impact, as we have discussed already, socio-economic, environmental and cultural. So all these things should help. When you say impact, it should be a positive impact. The positive impact should be help in the growth of their lifestyle, in their economy, in their the areas in which they are living, the infrastructure around, the roads we discussed yesterday. It's all about the roads also, the water, electricity. All these things should create this entire tourism's the efforts of the tourists coming into that area should build the infrastructure properly into the rural villages. This is a fantastic one which has come from the source developed by the authors from ResearchGate also. Sustainable tourism at the conceptual level, it is all about at smartness level we are trying to talk about technology that is being used. Then what is the interaction level? At the operational level, what are we saying? Natural and cultural sustainability, economic performance and competitiveness, employment and human capital, poverty reduction, social inclusion, governance. Why are we saying this? To understand, because we would like to understand what is the long term perspective, what are the transversal actions, what kind of innovation can we expect from them, what kind of citizen participation as a host as well as the guest. Then public private participation, the companies, public enterprises, private enterprises come together to develop that particular tourist destination. Then involvement of stakeholders. Definitely the stakeholders here means the local community, the community management. So you need to involve them, take them into consideration. If they have got any queries and doubts, kindly address that politely with lot of empathy, not sympathy. They require your empathy if you are making any changes in their existing structure. So that is the objective level, is visitors satisfaction and residents local well-being. So these are the factors that come into the play when we are going to talk about the conceptual level and at the operational level. Now just to take a broad spectrum, this is being taken from the Thailand one also. Community-based tourism is a management model that puts local communities at the center of the process. So tourism as a tool for empowering local communities. What are we going to encompass? Encompassing several types of tourism, not limited to rural villages, local lifestyle, old towns, nature, adventure, luxury tourism, etc. So basically, if you seeing the image on the left, planning by the local communities, management by the local communities, and the decision making. So planning, management and decision making by the local communities. That is where community based tourism has to be encouraged. It is being encouraged to support the local people and the establishment there. So broadly, this is just a simple review. What are the key elements of the sustainable development, sustainable tourism? The red one is the society, the blue, the grey one is environment, the green is economy, the yellow one is the culture. From culture point of it, we have discussed sustainable culture, heritage, integrity, culture tourism, rural tourism. From economic aspects, we have talked about sustainable economy, behavioral economics, political economics and circular economics. Then from the environment point of it, we discussed sustainable environment, low carbon tourism, eco-tourism, then alternative tourism. Then from society point of it, sustainable society, population and health, accessible tourism and community tourism. This is the broad structure in which the entire sustainable tourism is based on. So I feel happy to share this particular slide so that this is just a simple review of whatever we have discussed today and in the previous classes also. These are the video links for of two things, each one is of 2 minutes on sustainable tourism. Excellent videos, my dear friends. Please take time to watch this. Thank you. Jai Hind.